everybody. Welcome to Shine. This week you have me doing your Shine news. So just wanted to really warmly welcome you and say a huge thank you, especially to those who came to our Shine breakfast last week. If you weren't able to be there, you were so missed. The next of the Shine breakfast is actually coming up. It's going to be at 9:30 on the 7th of November at Town Hill Park. We're going to be hearing from the Barclays later about the parable of the wheat and the weeds. They've got a really exciting bit of theatre coming up. On that note, I thought I'd just show you. So these are the resources for Shine. They're online every week. You can see there's some. Oh, where are you? There's some questions here, and there's some a bit of teaching, something to play, something to watch. And actually, these resources are there to bless you and support you as you journey Shine together as communities. This Sunday evening, we've got our online teaching evening coming up. Dan's going to be teaching this week. It's at 6 p.m. on Zoom. You can find the link on the email, or you can contact care@citylife.org.uk if you don't have the link and would like it. It'd be really nice to see you guys there. Our next Worship and Vision Night is coming up really soon. It's on the 24th of October. It'll start at 6 p.m. again. Doors open at about 5:40 for you to come and get a cup of coffee, a cup of tea, just to chat with one another and catch up before we start at 6 p.m. It's going to be a lovely evening, just lots of opportunity to worship and hear from people about what God's doing and what God's saying. I would really encourage you to come along if you can. So let's get to it. We're going to hear now from the Barclay family. Over to you, Barclays.
The parable of the weeds. Jesus taught them another parable. Heaven's kingdom realm can be compared to a farmer who planted good seed in his field. But at night time, when everyone was asleep, an enemy came and planted poisonous weeds among the wheat and ran away. When the wheat sprouted and bore grain, the weeds also appeared. Thank you for watching our little bit about acting about the parable of the weeds. So we got to the bit where the wheat and the weeds had both sprouted. Then it was harvest time and the farmer's hired hands came to him and said, "Sir, wasn't that good seed that you sowed in the field? Where did all the weeds come from?" He answered, "This has to be the work of an enemy." They replied, "Do you want us to go and gather up the weeds?" "No," he said, "if you pull out the weeds, you might uproot the wheat at the same time. You must allow them both to grow together until the time of harvest. And at that time, I will tell my harvesters to make sure they gather the weeds first and tie them in bundles to be burned. And then they will harvest the wheat and put it in my barn." So when I first read this story, I was a bit confused and I was like, what does it mean? What does it mean? How am I going to explain this? But when Jesus told stories, he just told the story. And then he let his Holy Spirit come and do the work of explaining and revealing and teaching people through it. So I pray that as you listen to the story and as you think about what the wheat and the weeds mean, that Jesus will come by his Holy Spirit and give you explanation and revelation and understanding. So the wheat and the weeds grew in the same field, and they looked very, very similar, just like Eden and Evie look quite similar. You couldn't tell which was which. You couldn't tell which was wheat and which was weeds until harvest time. And at harvest time, the wheat would bow and the weeds would stand up straight. So that's how the harvesters knew. And there are lots of people around us in our lives, at school, at work, in our road, in our communities, who are living good lives and doing good things, and we never know. We might never ever know who's chosen to live for Jesus and who hasn't. But God tells us not to worry about that. He'll sort that out. We don't need to know. Him and his angels will make all those decisions. Okay, what he asks us to do is to keep on praying, keep on loving people, keep on building his kingdom by showing kindness and spreading peace and joy to others. So as we finish, I'm going to ask us to have a little pause and think about how we can be wheat this week, good seed, and spread his kingdom to those around us. Thank you for listening.